Hey guys, and welcome to another commentary track. This time we're doing Engines of Destiny. I guess I'll start off by saying this episode's storyline segments are exactly what you think it is, and it is a reference. It's a complete reference to yesterday's Enterprise from Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I have said multiple times is my favorite episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So this leads in directly from the Hitchhiker's Guide video that I did a commentary for last time, which is why I'm kind of doing it in this order. Yeah. So as I state in the video, the way the storyline works is that from Hitchhiker's Guide to Death Rat, there was a middle part that I had a slot of like a month where he didn't appear at all that I was able to put him into, and it happened here. So that was why I did this. I did this because I really like yesterday's Enterprise, and I always wanted to do a bit similar to it, where like the world becomes dark and gritty because of some change. And, so I always really liked, the concept, and I always wanted to do a video using that concept. And I'll say I'm actually kind of proud of this video. So I'm actually the other two I was embarrassed of, but this one, it was made at the end of last year, and I'm really proud of it. This is one of my favorite videos I've ever made, and the part of the reason it's one of my favorite videos is because it featured a book that I wanted to read for years. If I can digress and tell a story right now. Back when I first got into like Star Trek and I saw Star Trek Generations, I found out about Engines of Destiny, but because it was out of print, I could never track down a copy. And then when I discovered thrift books, I remembered the book, looked it up, and got myself a copy. So this was a book I wanted to read for literally years. So I was so stoked when I got to actually read it. And it was a really good book, like I say in the video. Here we are with the old theme song, which, to be honest, doesn't look as bad as a lot of the other ones. It's obviously lower quality, but it came out okay for the time. This video came about, obviously, because, I wanted to do a video where I wanted to do an entire episode, kind of as a love letter to my favorite episode of TNG. Really my favorite episode of Star Trek, not counting the movies, because if I had to pick something from Star Trek better than yesterday's Enterprise, it would be Star Trek 2. But just episode-wise, that's my favorite, and it has always been my favorite. And so the video in regards to a lot of the storyline stuff, it's funny because I'm really the only one that cares about continuity on my show. So it's like, it's weird because I put all this focus on with the storylines doing callbacks, but no one has watched any of the stuff that I'm calling back to, except for, of course, me, because I made them. So, like, this is a callback to the Hitchhiker's Guide video, which I would hope if you're watching this, you saw that commentary as well, so at least you'll be a little bit knowledgeable about what I'm talking about in this video. So it's interesting. It really is. I really do like this episode. So I guess I'll talk about a little bit of the development into it. I wrote the script in like a span of 2 weeks, I think, and I used a lot of the quotes from yesterday's Enterprise, like verbatim, and then I swapped words around, because honestly, that episode is very powerful for me. And anyway, so the jacket I'm wearing, obviously, you know, that's my Hawkeye Pierce jacket, my Green Army jacket. Originally, in the script, when I started writing it, I was going to be wearing the Maverick jacket, the leather jacket, you know, as a callback to the fact that in this timeline, Maverick was killed, and Michael would have inherited the jacket, and that would have been like his symbol of like keeping on moving. But because when I came up with the general idea of this video, which the general idea of this video, I came up with it like 2-3 years ago, just like yesterday's Enterprise, do something related to that, and it eventually evolved into this. My outfit changed, so the leather jacket didn't fit over my button-down and vest the same way it would have fit down over the t-shirt and the vest. So I ended up using the Hawkeye jacket and removing the bow tie to just kind of give it the, alternate timeline look. I don't know why I did this, other than the fact that, like with the outfit, other than the fact that I like the jacket, I couldn't really think of anything else that would be like a dystopian version of my outfit. Obviously, if I had the tools, it probably would have looked a lot more military. Like, it would have looked, something more in line with the yesterday's Enterprise uniforms. If I had that harness thing that they wear, I would have worn it, because I love those uniforms to death. And if I had, like, a turtleneck, I would have like worn it because of the higher collar that the TNG yesterday's Enterprise uniforms had. So yeah, and I always liked from the moment I read it in the book, the fact that the reason the timeline changes is not because Kirk's presence was like he had to be there to save the timeline. It was because he needed to be there because Picard got his ass kicked by Soren, which I like. Like, not even in some alternate timeline, Picard could have bounced back and maybe gotten the slip because he knew what was going to happen. No, Kirk had to be there, or Picard would have gotten his ass kicked again, which I think is awesome. Because obviously Guinan was still in there, so everything up to the part where he met Kirk would have went the same way. So I don't see why maybe he could have snuck out and gotten the slip on Soren, or, go with something else. I don't know. You're telling me that there was no one left in there? Like I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny that the entire plot of the book hinges on the fact that Picard got his ass kicked. And I love Picard. Picard's my favorite captain, but Kirk's a better fighter. It's funny that middle-aged Kirk is a better fighter than in his prime Picard, though, which is kind of funny. And yeah, so when I made the video, I remember this was one, like I said, this is one of the bigger videos I did, and it took like multiple I don't think it took multiple days of shooting, but it was a lot of shooting of extra stuff. Like, I was able to shoot the review stuff on a separate day where I just shot it like a regular review, but everything else was straight filmed separately, which is kind of why actually, I remember I filmed the review stuff, and I think that opening segment the same day that I filmed stuff for a crossover that unfortunately has been taken down by our robot overlords, and there's a third mention of the robot overlords in a commentary, I think. I think I mentioned it in the last one, so there we go. It was a crossover I did with The Geek with the Gab on the 1996 Doctor Who movie, which unfortunately was taken down, which I kind of figured it would eventually be, and which is a shame because it was a really good video. I don't know if he uploaded it anywhere else. If I find out if he did, I'll put a link in the description, but I don't think it's been uploaded anywhere else. I think I would have seen it. Yeah, and I remember for a while I was trying to do I give this a must-read rating. I tried to do ratings and I could never really get the hang of it because it wasn't my style. And that's okay. I mean, people do ratings, I don't really do it. But yeah, and the laptop there actually isn't mine, because I had the script on my laptop. So that I was recording the audio for it on my laptop. So that's actually my brother's laptop that looks the same. And using this clip, I probably could have made it clearer that it was a memory. I think it's pretty clear, but it could be clearer. And yeah. I also probably should have taken more care to get the clock out of frame or block out the window, because it's 11 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, or 2 in the afternoon, I guess. I guess I remember I started it around I think I started around 12ish, so I guess it might have took over an hour to get everything together and film. Also, you can see it all fades together because I'm terrible at going long form with script reading. I end up flubbing or hesitating, so it necessitates cuts. But yeah. And like I said, the video was really intense, but it was really fun to do. It's sort of one of my best, because it's a heavy storyline episode, but it doesn't have any fight scenes in it, because it's sort of us being Michael and Mirror Michael being allies, which is awesome in its own right. Unfortunately, they don't really get a chance to do this because while in the Christmas episode this year I did state that he was willing to be friends on Christmas, spoiler alert, not willing to be friends when it's not Christmas. Yeah, and so this was also before I did kind of an overhaul of all the stuff hanging up in my room. The Back to the Future poster would go up on the wall eventually, and I'd put more stuff on the wall, so it's kind of funny because it looks all barren. Yeah, so you can see this was definitely meant to be reminiscent of the final scene from yesterday's Enterprise, especially the let's make sure history never forgets the name literary Lair, because obviously, it's from the show. And you can see it swaps back, and Mike, just so you know, I didn't actually try to make Mike Sano's hair look crazy. That's just how my hair naturally looks. So yeah, and so this, was obviously a lead-in for the storyline in, December, where throughout my December videos, it featured Mirror Michael remembering this episode, which he lost his memory of, going back, because obviously once you change the past, why would you remember the future that you went to? So yeah, and I don't think you could really hear it. I did use background music, and yes, there is an after credits scene. It's from the Death Rat video, which, again, is a video that's really bad. But I had to get it in for continuity, because I like continuity. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, the continuity. That's obviously a video from 2013, right? That was very shortly after the Hitchhiker's Guide video, and that was in between, and then this video took place for Mirror Michael between those two videos. So yeah, that's all I had to say, and I will see you guys in the next commentary, I guess. Yeah, that was it.